GM builders, welcome back to Building Onchain podcast. This is episode 5 with Mike McCoy. He's the director of infrastructure at Sei Foundation, but also he loves sports and he used to be a sports host. And I thought it was really interesting how he went from doing that to working in Web3. So, hi, Mike. Nice to finally have you on the pod.
Hey, honored to be here. Honored to be here. And yeah, I guess a little bit about my background and intro and all that. So, my whole life, all I really cared about was sports. So I was really good at football and basketball in high school. I played like rugby. I played every sport known to man growing up, right? And that's what I wanted to do for a career. So I actually went to college at LaSalle University in North Philadelphia. My major was broadcast journalism with a minor in film, and I had all the right internships and for that type of role to like work in sports. I interned with the Philadelphia Eagles NFL team. I interned with ESPN, NBC Sports. Then I got a job in ABC talking about sports in Central Texas for your 6 and 10 o'clock news. And it was fun, but I was working every single night and weekend. I was meeting like pro sports players and like living that life, but I I wasn't making that much money and I was far away from my family and friends. And I also saw that like digital media in a sense was dying. Like the traditional local news stations were really not having as much power and as much of a voice as they once did because social media and other platforms were really taking advantage of that. So I got out of the industry in 2015. I came back home, was like, what am I going to do with my life? I then a lot of my friends in college were either in like software, business, and tech, and I just started doing a bunch of things. I started doing tech entrepreneurship stuff in the Philadelphia area. I would go to meetups in New York, DC, Philadelphia. Was learning how to program and code at the time, and then I actually ran a software development boot camp to teach myself and others how to program and code. And around that time, though, I started actually mining Bitcoin. One of my friends was doing it as well, and I had these like 3 ASIC miners in my closet, and I was making all this money on it, and it was so much fun. Actually, which was crazy is like my utilities were baked into the cost of my rents, like my gas, my power, my electric was all in one cost. So I was making all this money off of these Bitcoin miners off of one solo cost, which was insane at the time. So it was like my own version of arbitrage. But that got me down the crypto rabbit hole at first. And so I was going to all these technical meetups, and I went to a meetup that Joe Lubin was hosting for ConsenSys, telling about the Ethereum story and how Ethereum was going to be the programmable blockchain layer that people from all over the world could really connect in and utilize Ethereum for all these different things. And I was just enamored. I thought it was the coolest thing, and it was the coolest technology I've seen at the time. And he needed more people to help like tell the story of Ethereum. And I was like, well, I had a previous career telling stories on TV for a living, so why not go into this? So I started at ConsenSys in 2016. I was like a combination of a product scout, a venture scout, someone who was like helping build teams within the Ethereum ecosystem too. We had interactions and relations with teams like degens, like developers, all the way to like Goldman Sachs, Microsoft, the World Bank, Monetary Authority of Singapore. We were really just telling the world the story of Ethereum and how they could utilize it. But I was there from like 2016 to 2018, and then I wanted to see how traditional companies in the rest of the world could utilize crypto. So I joined Accenture in 2018, where I led global blockchain strategy for about 2, 3 years. I then got back into the web. And when I was at Accenture, it was more like with enterprise and Web2 companies, how they could use private permission chains to utilize to do different use cases and to benefit in a ton of ways. But then I got back into the crypto space around 2022, 21, 22, when I worked at Blockdaemon. So Blockdaemon very much focuses on products and staking services for institutions across the world. So I figured that would be like my Web 2.5 way to get back into the space again. And then right before joining Sei, I was at Protocol Labs for about a year and a half, a little bit more, where I ran a team called the Crypto Econ Lab, where we focused on protocol design, mechanism design, economic simulation modeling tools. So an L1, a DAO, an L2, a DeFi protocol could help solve for their protocol and mech design issues generally. But I joined and around like around like winter, spring of this past year, I wanted to move on to something that was a little bit more meaningful and different. I was either thinking of going the venture capital route or still being an operator at an L1 or something like that. But when I came across Sei, it really like stuck out to me because one, Sei has the fastest block finality in all of crypto at 380 milliseconds. The protocol has some of the largest transactions per second at 12.8 thousand, as well as some of the cheapest gas at 0.0002 per transaction. And I've been in crypto for so long. I've been in crypto for about 9, almost 10 years now. And the things that really get my normie friends, my family, the people that like want to use crypto is they have to pay more in gas fees than the actual transaction costs. They have to wait for a transaction to settle. They can't actually batch transactions to like the limits or the functions that like Visa or MasterCard or traditional Web2 companies can. And that's what gets them away. Whereas Sei at the protocol level really solves a lot of those issues. And I wanted to be part of a team and a product and a protocol that really brought as many people to crypto as possible. And that's what Sei is, in my opinion. It's the opportunity to do so, and it has the technology through parallel execution of transactions. And we're the only parallel EVM that is live today, and one of the first ones that have ever been live. So, it's just been a great time, like building this out from the ground up. A lot of the messaging has kind of been construed within Sei and its previous history, but we are a general purpose monolithic L1 that is also EVM compatible. So you could take EVM smart contracts, wallets, apps, dApps, and use it on Sei and just get the scale and the speed that you need. And that mission, that purpose really resonated with me because I know if every day people are going to use crypto, they're going to need to use a high performance chain to do so. And that's why I'm here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And so after like basic intros, the first question I typically ask is what was the first thing you built on chain? Which is just like a way of asking your first blockchain interaction.
Yeah.
And so for you, your first like blockchain like interaction, like experience was like mining Bitcoin.
My first one was mining Bitcoin, but I guess like my first like interface of it probably was MetaMask actually. Like I helped launch MetaMask when I was at ConsenSys back in the day, and that was probably one of the first apps I really tried that was like connected on chain activity.
How do you feel about the two things, the bots that are always in like MetaMask comments, but also like the criticism that everybody has about MetaMask? They complain about it, but they have to use it. So how do you feel about those two things?
I think MetaMask has actually onboarded more people than anywhere else in crypto, right? Especially when Ethereum was in its early days, right? And sometimes when you're such an early developer and adopter, like you're going to have just like Web2 companies, right? It's really hard to really rechange Web2 companies once they're launched because new tech and new innovations comes and makes it faster, better, cheaper, whatever it is, right? So MetaMask has some of that. They've actually grown a substantial amount, and they're now their own separate entity from ConsenSys, though they're very still much in partnership. I think like MetaMask is a great product today. Like the features and everything are excellent. It's just it may have had some like if you were a user in 2016 or 2015 your experience is totally different. It's hard to get those legacy assets into what today is. It's easier to start from scratch, and so I think that's where the difficulties come when it comes to MetaMask, is that you've had all these incumbent users and incumbent assets, and migrating them over just takes a lot of time and effort. And yeah, that's generally it.
Okay. Good answer. So what would you say is like your best I don't say best thing that you have built on chain or in Web3, like your favorite or like the coolest thing that you have built or contributed to?
The coolest thing ever, so like back in 2019, 2018, when I was at Accenture, we were one of the service providers for NBA Top Shot. So NBA Top Shots is like NBA, you're selling like NBA video clips or moments related to a player, right? So sports is always a big thing for me. So I was really into like NBA Top Shot, trading those cards and trading those moments, right? I had a lot of very fun fun times and made some money and also lost some money too, but it was a great experience. I think that was probably the coolest thing originally I was a part of. I also, when I was at ConsenSys, we auctioned off the first jersey from a player named Buddy Hield, who was on the Sacramento Kings. It was the first Ethereum player jersey auction ever in crypto in the world, and we were able to be a part of that, which was a really cool story then. Um, and then I'd say more of the modern ones that I've been a part of was, I don't know, with Say we're doing so many cool things all at once, right? Like we have all these like gaming startups and these like different type of experiences that are going to make trading so much easier. So a lot of those startups are really in like their MVP phase, but you can get like a chat GPT like experience to trade um assets in Say or within the network just by like writing in human readable text that is going to come in forward. So those are probably the coolest ones, both from like the fun and like my personal interest to like the ones that like will really take crypto and move them forward.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. Hopefully we'll get to talk more about like the cool things being built uh by Sei Foundation and within like the Sei ecosystem as the conversation goes
Yeah.
forward. But yeah, let's go into like Sei and what you do at Sei. What does a director of infrastructure do? Because I think I know a little bit, but I know that you reply very quickly to builders and potential builders, and then I see you organizing a lot of sports like Say Slam. So what do you do at Say?
So those things of like personally replying and being public, that's maybe only like 20% of the job, right? So I'm director of infrastructure at Say, and I help lead like all business development, investments, and infra partners and integrators that come into the network, right? So infra, in a sense, in when it comes to protocol, that is your wallets, your RPC providers, your indexers, your oracles, your analytic dashboards and providers, your multi-sigs, you can go down the list. It also, in our sense, includes like AI. It includes stablecoins, tokenization, payment partners. But so I help like partners that want to be able to deploy on Say, integrate on Say, get them to do so, and learn all the resources and the right ways to do it, as well as helping them scale, helping them grow, connecting with the right partners, like helping them with their product market fit issues and finding what like users truly want when it comes to their product and how it's being built. The replying and the replying quickly is just that, I feel that if you're in open source software and you're making open source protocols, you might as well just share all your secrets and your thoughts to everybody that may want to listen or may want to hear. Because if you're contemplating or thinking it, someone else in the world is too. The more you can respond and the faster you can provide your insights and your thoughts, the more everyone wins and the more everyone learns. And the events, they're just like for fun. Like I like hanging out with my friends. I love sports. I love staying active. I love playing sports, and it's just a great way because crypto, for the most part, at least in my history of 9 years, most of those years have been with like happy hours and yacht parties and like all these expensive, glamorous like parties and stuff, and they're great, and like there's always a time and a place for that, but I think it's more meaningful when you can play a sport and when you can like do something good for your body and being active and seeing other people wanting to do that as well. It's more like actually doing good for you than it is. And the social components of a party are good for you too. But I want to build a community of people that utilize the internet so they can trade their finances, grow wealth, do all many different things online, but then like do the things they love offline too. And I think crypto has a ton of people that are motivated, that are competitive, and they're just like me, and that want to play sports and be competitive and have fun with everybody. And I've played sports and pickup sports for all like years now, like probably over like 30 years of my life. And when you do pickup sports with crypto people, yes, we get really competitive and we get very like, into it. But at the end of the day, like everyone's such a good sport. They love that we're just there to compete. And yeah, there's a winner and there's a loser, but like hell, we all win if we get to like play sports for a day at a place that's different all around the world and we get to enjoy it with other people who love it too. So I love being able to put those things together because it just makes everyone have fun and does things for our soul that we never thought we could do too.
Yeah, but we need more of those sort of like experiences. Everybody needs to touch grass once in a while. So yeah, you shared a lot in your intro, um, and you touched on like your personal why for Stay, but also like a general why for saying things like how it's like really fast and it removes a lot of the friction that like new people to Web3 have in terms of like gas fees, long transaction wait times and things like that. But what is the why for builders?
The why for builders in Sei is to scale the EVM and to scale crypto, right? We are monolithic L1 that is EVM compatible. And there's a blockchain trilemma, right, where you can only get 2 out of 3. And out of those 3, it's decentralization, speed, and security, right? I'd say we overly optimize for speed and security. We are a decentralized validator set and we have a decentralized sequencer. We will always have those two things. But we may not always have a very large validator set. Right now, our validator set is around 41 to 42. Part of the reason why it's small is because it costs about the equivalent today of 65 million US dollars as a minimum stake to come into Sei, right? That is a good amount of money. That is not going to have many solo stakers at all. We emphasized for performance and for high throughput. If you have a very large validator set, you won't be able to have large performance and large throughput. That is the sacrifice we make to make that happen. But the goal really is to anything that's high frequency trading, whether that's commodities, treasuries, digital assets, NFTs, consumer applications, gaming assets, all those things need to have a fast performant chain. So those use cases of like payments, consumer applications, like social fi applications, things, as well as like any type of game. So your game, I don't necessarily think like every single game should be fully on chain, right? Because that would just be a shit game. That would be a horrible experience, and you'd have to wait way longer than you would for a Web2 game, and people just don't want to do that, even if they're making money for it. When your level is done, you then go to the game and see if the metadata that hits the parameters for earning for like moving on to the next level is recorded then on the blockchain. Then you go move on and play the game off chain again, right? And we help for that transfer process of like evaluating rewards in that game as fast and easy as possible globally. So like that is a huge benefit to what we actually do.
Um, what are some of the like really cool, interesting, or like top applications in the Say ecosystem for the major use cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So for DeFi trading in particular, we have a lot of good native teams. We have Jellyverse and DragonSwap, which are our AMMs, our automated market makers, and our dexes. Jellyverse is really focused on creating like RWA pools for like stable coins and for real world assets of any kind. DragonSwap is looking to do like intent trading and intent solver trading, which gives you that human readable text like experience where you just enter in, I want to buy Sei at $10 and I want to release Sei when it's at $20. And you could easily put in those like human readable text things that can execute on your trades with DragonSwap in the future. We also have a perps dex in Filament, which is able to have these perpetual trades over time that allow you to loop rewards, be able to like constantly trade over time that you can't do much anywhere else. Thanks to Sei's speed, it really gets you into that realm of like fast high frequency trading. You then also have Silo that allows you to do liquid staking within Sei that you can't do anywhere else either, as well as we have a lot of your traditional players like Uniswap and Frax and that do like traditional lend borrow and trading today. But then we also have a lend borrow protocol that has nearly over 200 million in TVL in Yay, which they're just a really good team that does the right things. They are former Binance, have connections with a lot of people in crypto that they've been able to make a good amount of traction since their early days in June 1st. That's like on the DeFi side. On gaming, which is probably our second most popular use case, we have games like Dragon Ninja, which is more of a casual mobile game. Cats vs. Monsters, which is this like fighter game that you could also play on your mobile phone as well. We have Quiz Match that allows you to like it's like a trivia game that you can win on. You also have Star Symphony. Star Symphony is like Guitar Hero, but for crypto. We have Anomi, Heroes of Hold'em, Cap games. We have tons of games. I want to say like it's over 30, 40, maybe even 50 now of like native Sei games that are just really taking off by storm. And gaming, like I mentioned, like needs a high frequency, high throughput chain to be able to make sure the experience doesn't lapse or doesn't have a break in between anything. So we're really proud of how we've built out that ecosystem. And then we have a SocialFi project that is coming out soon that we're very excited to share with everybody. I just can't say anything on it. And then, from our info side, we have a native wallet in Compass, which allows you to trade Sei easier and faster than anywhere else in the world. You can also use Sei Scan to be able to use and understand like the data on Sei from a block explorer perspective. And we have many indexers and bridges and teams that allow you to connect into the Sei protocol as easy as possible. But when it comes to interesting use cases, you're going to see a lot of them when it comes to stablecoin and payments in the near term future, as well as being able to trade tokenized assets that have like digital representations of themselves now. And I'm just really excited to see what everyone thinks about them when they are live.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in like the social fight that you can share more about.
I'll give a hint. I'll give a hint here is that it really much emphasizes for privacy, and it'll emphasize for how you can utilize privacy for social interactions.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. Social fire in general, but like privacy, because that is something that the space is catching up to, and privacy is really important for a lot of reasons. Thank you for that whole rundown. Like that was an incredible list. So, there's an article you wrote about like protocol grants, and you wrote giving a team a grant is like fishing for them, teaching a team how to fish, i.e., building community, raising around, creating a venture scalable startup are the key ingredients to making them self sufficient. I thought this was really interesting because for two reasons. First of all, this is a common like conversation that we have in the space. Like I see people talk about it. I talk to builders that struggle to get users and adoption and things like that, even when they have grants. And then also users on the other side that struggle to have grants. But then the second reason is that I have friends at Filament, so um, the perps decks in like conversations and even like all over like their Twitter. They're like they picked Say because it's fast, but the community, the grassroots building, the support, and they can go like on and on. So in some way, Say is doing that well. And so my question to you, like this is like a long-winded way to ask a question. But the question here is, what are some of the ways you have seen um, protocols and teams support the builders in their ecosystem? And then what are the ways that you guys do that at Say?
Absolutely. So part of my thinking there is if you need protocol grants to survive, you're just never going to make it. If you can't raise your own money, if you can't build your own community, no one's going to use your thing past when the protocol grant ends. So you don't see HTTPS giving out grants for people to run their business. You don't see TCP/IP paying people to use that protocol to utilize the internet today. And when you talk about like protocol grants, when it comes to, yes, there's some things that need to be bootstrapped with liquidity, and a lot of that's in DeFi, and that does happen, right? But people come to crypto for three main reasons. You come for funding to make money, right? Where someone pays you to do something or you earn money, which you couldn't have done in Web 2. You come for features, product features, which are a certain thing that's either faster, better, cheaper, or stronger than it is in Web 2, or you could do something that you couldn't do in Web 2, such as having digital ownership of things, such as having fractionalization of shared ownership of other things, being able to take out inefficient third parties to be able to transfer value. Like those are some of the big like value adds for crypto. And three, you come for the community, right? But people come initially for funding because they make money to do something, but you stay for the features in the community. And that's the thing that like an individual founder or a team really needs to build. Otherwise, you're not going to have your 100 true fans and you're not going to have sustainability. People are just going to like airdrop farm whatever you're looking to build, and they're going to move on to the next thing. But if they actually care about you, if they actually know you, and if they actually want to build with you and think that you have innovative insights and have innovative like products that are actually coming in your eco, they're going to stay there forever. And so like I do feel if you're just grant farming, you don't have a valuable enough service, or you don't have a valuable enough product that the rest of the world's going to need or use. And yes, crypto in the past couple of years has been very like wealthy and affluent, and sometimes teams can just live off of grants, and they've made very good living off of it. But when it comes to more bear markets and whatnot, you're just going to die, and you're going to move on to the next thing, and maybe you'll grant grift somewhere else, right? And I just don't think that's very sustainable for any business to try and succeed. So at Sei, we actually only invest and give grants, if you want to call them that, to Sei native builders like teams like Filament that want to be able to grow with us, but we're never going to sign exclusivity contracts with any of them. Exclusivity contracts where you must build on a protocol no matter what. If we as a foundation leadership aren't getting you interested, aren't building a community for you, aren't helping you connect with the right venture capitalists to raise money, if we don't connect you with the right people to build out product features or to build interesting dev tools or whatever it may be, we're not doing our job. You'll go to some other chain, you'll make money through their grants, and you'll be fine. But if you really want to build things that are of purpose and that are meaningful and that are going to have a real product market fit, you come to Sei and do that. You come to the high performance chain and Sei to make that possible. And that is our mission. That is our goal. And so how we work with them is we help with anything related to product market fit or go to market or initial strategy or doing initial reviews of what customers actually want and need, or connecting with KOLs, designing their actual brand, designing their actual look. We do all those type of things around the sun. The only thing we don't overly do is fund anything that's multi-chain. And we believe there's going to be a multi-chain future, right? Like everyone will use multiple chains for many different use cases. But we are growing. We just hit mainnet on May 27th, 2024. We need to grow and improve on our own product market fit with our own native builders, because one day we hope to be the same, if not better, than others like Solana and Ethereum that are other programmable blockchains that are out there in the world today. And our main goal is to make sure there's enough value in our ecosystem and our network first. Then we'll be very open to help building in other ecosystems and with other networks.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. And then it does make sense that you have decided, as Say, to focus on the Say native teams and really like go all the way in supporting them, but you may not be able to spread out your support across like multi-chain and those sort of things.
There's another big fact in here too. Some other chains that are in crypto raised a ton of money. They raised in the hundreds of millions, and they can be able to pay people to do a lot of interesting activity. But we at Sei, we've only raised 35 million from venture capital partners. And we have some prime, excellent venture capital partners in Multicoin, Coinbase Ventures, Circle Ventures. They're prominent names. But we want to make sure that we are the value accrual chain. We're not going to just pay you to do there and sit there and do anything. Because if you get paid to sit, you're not going to do anything. But if you have to be able to work and strive and build your own network and build your own value prop on your own, you're going to be so much more successful.
Yeah, no. When you don't just throw money to solve problems, you get to come up with more creative solutions. So I love that. Thank you for going into detail and explaining all of that. So the Creator Fund, there's been a lot of buzz about that on Say. Also, it's been growing with the past couple of rounds. So there has been DevRel round, Creator round. I forgot the other one, but a couple of rounds. Can you share like any alpha on like what to expect?
Let me caveat on some details with the Creator Fund, right? So the Creator Fund is paying people to tell the Sei story, right? But every business and every protocol has money as a marketing fund, right? A lot of times, like you've seen Polkadot, you've seen other ecosystems that spend hundreds of millions on extravagant events, on these other type of experiences, right? That they're on yachts, they're on beach parties, they're on this or that, right? And they've really thrown money around a lot, right? We had this idea to work with Gitcoin to do quadratic funding to pay people, individual people who are going to be real users of the actual Sei network and the protocol, to tell the story of Sei, to make it easy and digestible for everyday people to come and understand the protocol, why it matters, what's it meaningful for, and move on from that, right? So of the 10 million that we've had for the creator fund started, I believe, in April or May of this past year. We've only used about $1 million of that. And all of that has gone to content creators on mostly on Twitter and on Discord and on Twitch and on YouTube that help tell the Sei story as easy and digestible as possible so everyday people in the world can use it. So, we've been very thoughtful in who and how we reward people who do those content creations. I think it's been very meaningful and profitable. We've had like friendships come out of this. We've had startups and companies come out of this, and it's generated its own economy, which is just so cool to see. As far as alpha is concerned, right? We have rounds 3 and 4 that are live today. Round three is for gaming. Round 4, I believe, is for developer and like technical content that you could be able to share and make money for sharing that type of content for. But the more you can like double down and like emphasize like why Sei is technically beneficial and why the gaming experiences are very fun, interesting, meaningful, creative, etc., the more you will be able to qualify and other people will vote for you to then receive money within the creator fund to move forward. So it's been an incredible and great campaign, and I love every second of it. And I've met some very creative people who dedicated some time to sharing our story, and I think it's been awesome.
Yeah, so at this point, my final question to you is, who is someone you would like to see on the pod? And it can be more than one person.
Someone I like to see on the pod in crypto or non-crypto or whatever, I guess.
Preferably crypto, but like in general.
Yeah, preferably crypto. I think having Jay on the pod, our CTO and co-founder, would be great. I think he just has a great story and has a lot of detail and insights of why and what he thinks is valuable in this space. Well, other than that's with bias aside. So I like him as a founder. I would also say Nader from Eigenlayer is probably an interesting conversation who can go into a lot of technical details and has a good emphasis of what is valuable in crypto over his years of experience.
Yeah, awesome. So it's been amazing talking to you, Mike. I look forward to future collaborations and like as I learn more about Say. You guys have an amazing community, very welcoming. So yeah, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. We'd love to have you in the community and we'd love to have you do some, whether it's content creation or it's building of startups in our ecosystem.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep in touch. Right. Bye.